and welcome back to another episode of Perfection Unfolding with me, Cara G. This is episode 25. Holy crud. Now that I have videos on YouTube, I don't want to curse in the first, 3 minutes of this episode. But 25 episodes, that's crazy. Now, mind you, I understand that it's Tuesday and I'm recording this. Am I a little bit late based on my regularly scheduled content? Absolutely. Is it still within the confines of when I said I would do it? Also, yes. And that's exactly how I operated through elementary school, junior high, and high school. Just kind of weaved in and out of those boundaries, and nobody ever said anything. So anyway, welcome back, guys. Happy Tuesday night, happy Wednesday, whenever you're listening to this. It's been a week and it's only day 2, and this is just the rub, Some days you're on your shit and some days you're not. And today I found myself self-sabotaging a little bit. If I'm being totally honest, kind of what I spoke about last week or the week before, a little bit of self-sabotage is happening right now because I feel like I'm at the precipice of this big change. And it's not a big change in that big action is happening, but it's big change in that these little actions are happening and these little alignments are coming together. And it's really exciting and it's giving me a lot of energy and a lot of creativity. And I can feel myself connecting with people whom I need to connect with, and doors are opening and windows are cracking, and I'm aligning with that. And yet there's still a little piece of me, or rather it's this like big piece of who I used to be who's holding on for dear life. And right now I'm starving it. I'm starving out this old version of me. I'm starving it, and it's pissed and it's hungry and it wants to eat. And sometimes literally wants to eat, like physical food, because food was a big coping mechanism for me when I was younger. That's going to lead me into what we're talking about in the episode. But all that to say, yeah, like if you've ever read The Big Leap, it talks a lot about reaching your upper limit. Um, and even though I've raised my upper limit further and further and further, and I will continue to do so, I've met a little bit of an upper limit this week. I haven't been sleeping. I've kind of been scrolling on my phone a lot, disassociating, just kind of doing these little things here and there, still being productive, still getting things done that I need to get done, but not doing the routines and the rituals that I've kind of come to find that help me level up and help me recenter and ground. But you know what? It's like we're still pushing through because look, here I am. It might be Tuesday night, but I still showed up. And I showed up not just for you, but for me. Like me doing this is me proving to myself that I'm someone I can depend on. And you might have heard me talk about that a lot in season 1. Welcome to season 2. But that's something that I think about still, and I still have to practice. I mean, everything that I've ever done to better myself, I'm still having to practice over and over and over again. Because sometimes you don't use it, you lose it, It's like you can make all this progress. You can take 2 steps forward, 10 steps back. I mean, I know we all know how that feels. Doesn't feel great. But I'm focusing less on how it feels and more on just the doing. I'm focusing less on being in my head about it and making it mean something when it really doesn't have to mean anything, and just doing it. Like the difference between me doing this yesterday and me doing this today, there's no difference outside of like this idea in my head that somehow yesterday is better than today. Just done. Sometimes done is better than perfect. Okay. That's also something I've been repeating to myself over and over and over again in this process of showing up again. I mean, I took a year off from this, right? I took a year off really from doing some self work. I was doing a lot of relationship work this last year and less me work. I mean, who am I kidding? I'm always doing me work. That's just kind of my whole thing. Ugh. But Anyway, I digress. There's more to be said about that, but just some life updates. Well, first of all, how the hell are you? How are you doing? You hanging out? Are you hanging in there? Is spring springing for you? Are you feeling good? Are you feeling alive? Are you taking time for yourself? Before I started this episode, I had to kind of take a couple breaths and just ground myself. And if you're familiar with the exercise of box breathing, I don't think I'm going to do that on the show anymore, but it's definitely a tool that if you are someone who deals with anxiety, or if you're someone who deals with the bees buzzing in your head, right? And you're just like, you know, getting overwhelmed really easily. Box breath is an incredibly powerful tool to physically, literally, like slow your heart rate down and bring you back into like recenter you back into a parasympathetic um nerve response. Oh my God, I'm saying that all jacked up. But when you're anxious and when your cortisol spikes and when your adrenal glands are shot, like you're in sympathetic nerve, your system is in sympathetic mode, which just means like you're like fight or flight, right? And to get you, sometimes our brains will just get us there. Nothing even had to happen. Our brains will just think of something and then just like it puts us right back into this like why like I'm fighting for my life kind of energy. And the box breath is a tool you can use to help bring yourself back down. I use this when I'm nervous. I use this method when I'm going in for a job interview. I use this method when I'm like really triggered and I need to bring myself back down to the ground. And so if you're not familiar with it, it's based essentially you breathe in for 4 counts, you hold for 4 counts, you exhale for 4 counts, you hold for 4 counts. And you just do that over and over and over again until you finally feel yourself come back to reality, reground yourself um, in your safety. Hopefully, you're not actually in danger, because if you're in actual danger, I mean, I don't recommend you stopping to breathe. I recommend you getting the hell out of there first, and then maybe do the breaths. But yeah, that's a tool that really helps me. There's a bunch of other breathing techniques you can do, but that just seems to be the one that's just it's easy. It doesn't take a whole lot of thinking. You just kind of do it, and it just makes it soothes your soul, makes you feel better. Um, so I hope you're good. I hope you're good. I hope that tool helps you. Life updates for me. Let me pull my notes up because I'm like, what even have I been doing? Like, who am I? What's that? What's going on? Well, first update, if you're watching on YouTube, I just felt really purple today. I've got the purple lipstick, I've got the purple eyeshadow, and I'm wearing my purple Queen Herbie Stop Scrolling t-shirt. Shout out to Queen Herbie. I also recommend something to make you feel better. If you are like feeling like you are not a bad bitch, you need to listen to Queen Herbie, because not only is her music like music for bad bitches, and you are a bad bitch if you listen to her music, but her music is infused with like affirmations, positive affirmations. I mean, a lot of it is, I'm a bad bitch, but a lot of the other stuff is, it's very like, she's very spiritually, like, I mean, think what you want about like the word witchy, but when I say witchy, I just mean like very spiritually inclined and in tune, like tapped in. She's very witchy in that capacity. So like there was a period last year where every time I'd work out in my room by myself, like in the mornings for an hour, I exclusively listen to her music, because there's some kind of frequency in her music that just like is high vibe, and it makes you feel so good. It makes you feel like powerful and strong and beautiful and like a bad bitch, which, I mean, who doesn't want to add that to their daily checklist of things to do, is be like, it's like laundry, clean my room, be a bad bitch, like just check that off your list for the day. So yeah, I'm wearing her merch. Shout out Queen Herbie. I'm even wearing her lipstick right now, if I'm being honest. She is a white rapper, so I mean, what can I say? Birds of a feather. I don't rap, but we are both cute white girls. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, that's my first update. I'm wearing purple today. I'm feeling very, very cutesy, girly, my little monochromatic moment. Also, something I'm very proud of, and I'm probably going to be a little bit obnoxious about it for a little while because it's new to me. But I am, like, as of today, like 6 weeks sober from cane sugar. And I'm saying specifically cane sugar because I'm like not sober from things that are sweet, fruits, honey. I'm eating all that stuff. Well, I don't hate myself, okay? I like to live life, I like to enjoy it, okay? I'm eating all the honey in my coffee. That's how I sweeten things, whatever. But I'm 6 weeks sober from specifically cane sugar. And one thing about me is that I am at my core an experimenter. Okay? I like to experiment. And maybe that makes me a scientist. Maybe I'm a scientist. And specifically, I like to experiment with, food, my health, exercise, different kinds of things that will help me live a healthier life. And not only has like my body been changing in this like really incredible way, which you would think it sounds so simple. Cut out sugar. Yeah, well, it's not that easy, bro. Like sugar is in everything. So I'm really proud. But like my body is changing in ways that I didn't really anticipate. Like I haven't lost any weight. Okay. Because my goal wasn't to lose weight. My goal was to just see. I mean, obviously, losing weight is nice. It is gonna be like a cherry on top, but my body is like recomped. Like I've heard that term, like, oh, body recomposition. I've heard people who weightlift talk about that, how when when they go from cardio to like weightlifting, or when they're cutting or, all these terms, but I never really understood what that meant. And what I'm finding is like now that I'm in week 6, I haven't changed anything else about my eating habits. Mind you, I've worked really hard over the last couple of years to kind of try to eat cleaner. I mean, today I had pizza. All right. Not perfect. But it's like 2 slices of pizza every, 2 months. That's still pretty good. And well, pretty healthy in my opinion for me and my body. But holy shit, I just lost my train of thought. Oh no. But yeah, so like I'm like my body is totally recomping to the point where it's like my skin is tightening up and the muscles I already had are feeling stronger. And at the same time, I'm kind of sabotaging by not getting sleep and like drinking extra coffee. So, like I said, I'm like hitting an upper limit where, I'm trying to do the thing where I'm both eating healthy and sleeping healthy and moving healthy. It's like hard for me to do all at the same time, but I'm really trying. And so right now I'm not sleeping healthily like at all. Like I'm definitely I'm definitely speeding up the Alzheimer's. You know what I mean? Like um but yeah, like 6 weeks no sugar and like my body's changing and I'm feeling sexier. I haven't lost any weight, but like everything is like suction cupping to my body. It's like like tightening up, which I thought was a myth. I thought that was like make believe. I thought people were just like don't eat sugar because they didn't enjoy life. You know what I mean? But if I'm being totally honest, like all jokes aside, it's just like sugar's an inflammatory, and the health coach in me has been wanting to I've been messing around with this idea of sugar sobriety for a long time. Like I've already been sober from alcohol for almost 2.5 years because me and alcohol have a long history. I think I talked about it a little bit in the episodes in season 1, but yeah, I don't drink anymore. So like that's a good thing because that was super inflammatory. So I'm like, okay, that's one thing I can remove from my life to just so I can maintain my other eating habits and still be healthier. And so I've been playing around this idea with sugar sobriety for a long time. And this is I think the longest I've done it is 8 weeks. So this is kind of my third round trying it. I've tried it a couple times and I failed, But was it really a failure if I learned something? Perspective. So yeah, it's like kind of my third time trying it. And this time it feels like it's going to stick because I've really gotten into a good groove where like I'm putting the honey in my coffee. And then if I want something sweet, I'll eat like peanut butter and jelly, peanut butter with no sugar, jelly with no sugar. And that's working for me. It's kind of scratching an itch. And if I'm really in a pinch, like yesterday, I was really, really fiending because when I say I have a problem with sugar, like I'm not just like somebody who just like dabbles in sweet treats, like, oh yeah, like a cookie. No, like I'm like I like come from a family where when there was sugar entered into the household, it was like a battle royale getting what you wanted from the grocery bags, and then you would hoard them in your room. And if you didn't hoard them in your room, you would just eat all of them all in one sitting. Yeah, so like I have a problem. So I've been trying to figure this out for a long time, and I feel like I finally figured it out. But the thing that's blown my mind, and ladies, this one's for you. The thing that's blown my mind is that in conjunction with this sugar sobriety that I've been trying to dabble with, I've also been trying to figure out how to eradicate my period cramps. Okay. Now, I'm somebody who my period has been like all over the place throughout my life. Like I've had some really, really bad periods to the point where the cramps are making me like, like make me sick. And then I've had like really light periods when I was vegan, my periods were a little bit lighter. But when I tell you, so I had my period week 4, right? So this is 2 weeks ago. It was one day. I started at like 3 in the morning, and I only know I started because I woke up to go to the restroom, and then I wiped, and I was like, oh, like I haven't been surprised by a period since I had my first one. And this one surprised me because I didn't have like a preliminary cramp that was like warning me that the big ones are coming. I didn't have like this like achy feeling. I literally started the bleed. And then I had a cramp that was like, didn't even feel like a cramp. It just felt like just a light little pressure on my abdomen, like just enough to notice, but not enough that like my heating pad, it didn't like I just put my heating pad on and I just fell right back to sleep. I didn't even put like a tampon in or anything. I use a Diva cup. I'm a Diva cup girl, but I think you could tell that by my purple lipstick. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But yeah, I went back to sleep and I woke up the next day. I mean, I woke up at like 4 hours later. That same just kind of that little just like pressure, like, oh yeah, I'm here. Don't worry about it. And that was it. I did not have to pop a single Tylenol. I didn't have to pop a single like Pamprin, nothing. I just put my heating pad on my stomach just because. And by the end of the day, like that was it. I mean, I still had some leftover, goop. But and I just sat there like, has sugar really been me up that much for this long? Like, now, granted, like, there's a lot of inflammatory things out there that we can be ingesting. So it's like, it could be caffeine, it could be sugar, it could be, whatever um, sensitivities you have. It could be that. But like, sugar is like cane white, bleached sugar is a massive inflammatory. And so I'm like, if I can still eat all these other sweet things, like I'm eating dates and peanut butter and fruits and honey, I'm all about my honey. Like, don't mess with me and my honey. Then like I'm good. Like if this means I don't have to pop pills every month, because I'm taking minimum 24 pills a year, which that doesn't sound like a lot, but like when you put it in that perspective, it kind of is. It's like wreaking havoc on your liver. I mean, I'm not a doctor, and this is not medical advice by any means, but I'm just like, damn. Like if skipping out on cake at the birthday party means that I'm gonna like have a stress-free, pain-free like flow every month, sign me the freak up, my guy. So anyway, that's my good news. I feel like I cracked the code. This is the code for me, but I will also say like my family has a history of diabetes, so it's like I think it's just an indicator within itself that like my family is susceptible to inflammation from sugar because our insulin gets all figgity flaggity. And so yeah, that's my good news. So 6 weeks sugar free. Hey girl, do I think I'm better than everybody else? No, but do I think that I'm looking better and better every day and I'm feeling sexy as hell? Yes. Yes, I do. And I will live and die by that. And that's also something I'm trying to keep in mind is like, okay, like the temporary satisfaction it's not worth feeling not sexy, feeling bloated, feeling like a piece of turds. Um, Not because I look bad, but just because I internally feel like crap. Um, some other good news. I'm competing at World of Dance this month. So like I've been training for 9 months for this competition and it's finally here and I'm both excited and I'm exhausted at the same time. So if you're in Dallas, come out and see Team Athena perform. It's going to be exciting. Um, yeah, and also I'm offering, and I didn't know if I was going to talk about this, but I have recently started offering private dance lessons. So If you are a hip hop dancer or an aspiring hip hop dancer, I'm teaching private lessons. If you are a salsa dancer or an aspiring salsa dancer, I'm teaching private lessons. And honestly, just any kind of, if you need any help with cleaning your routine or body movement or basics, I got you. So you can DM me on literally any platform, or you can email the pod at perfectionunfoldingpod@gmail.com and hit me up about that, and we'll get something on the books. So that's my update. But circling back to feeling sexy, like that's kind of what I want to get into today. So something that happened recently, like very recently, is I had a photo shoot for my dance team, for Team Athena. If you're in the DFW area, you get it, hooty hoo. We had a photo shoot and I wore this two-piece outfit to kind of look like a goddess. It's like a goddess vibe. And I looked really good. And I just, in taking the photos, in being around all the ladies and just seeing myself in this outfit that, 10 years ago, I would have been like, I'm wearing what? Huh? No way. There's no way I'm showing my stomach. There's no way I'm showing my arms. There's no way. No way. These legs is too thick. Like, cover me up. I was just looking at these photos and just thinking about like all the different bodies I've been in and thinking about how I got from where I was 10 years ago to where I am now, and just having so much gratitude for that journey. And I just, some of my lore, like I was talking about this on my Instagram stories this week. I've lived in so many different kinds of bodies. I've lived in college, I was almost 200 pounds, right? I was a cute, thick 200 pounds, but I was a little big girl. I'm only 5'4". You stuff 200 pounds into a 5'4" girly, you're gonna get some thickness, okay? I mean, and I'm joke about it now, but like back then I used to be really insecure about that. But like now I'm just like, it's a body. And then I've lived in a body that was like 135 pounds, where I had lost all my muscle mass when I was vegan. I was thin, but I wasn't strong. Um, and right now I'm in a body that's about 150 pounds, which for the last 3 years I've been right around 140. I'd say 2 years right around 140, and then 150 would always be my like, oh, I'm eating too much sugar mark. But now I'm like 150 and I'm solid. And especially with this no sugar thing, I'm 150, I'm solid, and I'm like getting toy like a toy. Like my body's like recomping, where like I feel like my fat cells are shrinking and my muscle is getting stronger, and I'm getting more dense. Do I still have fluff? Absolutely. But I just think about all these different versions of bodies I've lived in, and just the different experiences I've had in those bodies. And it just got me thinking about how, like, right now I'm a month away from my 30th birthday. Shout out to me. Shout out to my mom. It's really her birthday. um, and I've never been more fit. I've never been more healthy. And I just think about all the small steps I had to take to get here, all the experiments, all the hypothesis, all the practice and all the play in different tips and tricks and things I've learned along the way that got me here, and how I couldn't be here until right now. Like, me at 25 would probably think like, girl, what's your secret? Like, please tell me, like, I'll do anything. I'll do anything to be like you. I'm like, girl, you're going to have to go through 5 more years of learning to get here. There is no quick fix. There is no recipe. There is no secret. Like, I think about the analogy of like being this block of marble, right? And you can think about this for your mental journey, your spiritual journey, your physical journey, whatever. But I have had to carve myself out of this big block of marble. And before I even knew what the vision was, I mean, I think if we're really honest with ourselves, and if I'm really honest with myself, there's a vision of what I think I'm supposed to look like, right? And I think when we're in bigger bodies, we get frustrated because we're like, this is not what I look like. This is not who I am. This is not what I look like. This is not who I am. Like, it doesn't fit. It doesn't resonate. And so, like, in that sense, like, I did kind of have a vision of what the marble looked like, the sculpture looked like in the marble, but like, goddamn, if you have no tools, I was trying to carve it out with my fingernails for years. For years. And not only that, I was doing the opposite. I was like walking away from the marble sculpture and just going in the total opposite direction of walking towards my future or my visionary version of myself. Just totally asleep, just standing in front of it, just like didn't even know it was there. I just was unconscious about a lot of my actions. And then one day I woke up and I was like, "Oh shit, I have this vision. How the hell do I carve out this marble?" And then you start looking around, you're like, I'm picking up pencils, which are like unhelpful diet culture. I'm picking up, you know, I'm picking up paper clips, which is, let me be skinny instead of let me be healthy, just like negative thought patterns, unhelpful philosophies, and I'm not even where I want to be, and I'm still carving this marble, but like I started picking up better tools to carve out this marble. I started reading books about changing my mindset. I started like asking questions about my childhood trauma. I started digging deep. I started healing my relationship with my dad and myself. And then I feel like now at the ripe age, ripe age, I'm still so young, bro. Like 29, I'm a baby. Like shut up. At the ripe age of 29, I feel like I finally have like a chisel and a hammer. I finally found the tool that I need to actually carve and make progress on this marble to carve out this life that I have a vision for and to carve out this body that I have a vision for and this mindset and this career and these relationships. I have the actual tools needed and now I just have to practice and work at refining that. And that feels good. And that has led me to like being at a photo shoot with all these beautiful women and wearing my two-piece and seeing my little fatty pack abs because I'm documenting my journey with this sugar sobriety. And every week I've been taking a video and I'm gonna post it on my Instagram eventually. And I've just been seeing how my body's changed because I finally have like a system and a ritual and the tools to like get to a place where I actually feel like I look like myself and I act like myself and I talk like myself. And I just wanted to speak to that and speak to kind of and reverse engineer kind of how I got there. Because I know if you're anything like me, like you could be where I was at 5-10 years ago. And so for those and if you are that person, like if you were anything like me, you hate what you see in the mirror, you feel discouraged and disgusting, you feel kind of pathetic because and also disappointed and ashamed that you've let yourself become this person or this version of you that you don't recognize, or maybe you never had a chance to not be that, right? Because you were conditioned to think a specific way or to shame yourself, or the negative self-talk that your mother had passed on to you. I mean, these things happen. Like, um, if that's where you're at, then I think that some of the tools, some of the things that I picked up along the way on my journey will help you. And one of those things is body neutrality. Okay, we hear about body positivity and how you should love yourself no matter what. And to that, I say yes. However, to get there, you need a neutral path because you can't just. A lot of times, the path from hating yourself to loving yourself, it feels just as fucking confusing as figuring out what the difference between good sugar and bad sugar is, like aka good carbs and bad carbs. Like what the there's so much misinformation, there's so much confusion, and there's so much shame and so much stereotype and judgment around our bodies anyway. Like just thinking about yourself and your body is triggering when you're in a space that you don't like, and when you're in a space where you don't love yourself, and when you're in a space when you look in the mirror and you're like, who is that? And if that's me, I hate them. You know what I mean? And I'm using these strong, powerful words because that's what was true for me. And I don't think I always respected myself at my core. But man, when I wasn't taking care of myself back back in the day when I didn't have any tools. Like, yeah, I hated how I wasn't showing up for myself. And that might not have been a self-hatred like of like my soul, but it was like a self-hatred of like my ego because my ego was just like eating to try to survive. You know what I mean? So body neutrality is this concept that it's not body positivity where it's like you need to love yourself all the time no matter what happens, blah 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 blah. That can sound like a load of horse shit if you're not there, right? That can be really helpful for some people, but for some people it's not. So body neutrality kind of comes in and it's just like this is my body. My body doesn't have to mean anything about who I am or what I'm doing. Like this is just the vessel that walks me around and takes me places, and that's it. Like I am not my body, right? With meditation, like you kind of practice like you kind of practice this where you're just the observer. And I think that this concept is super helpful when you are in a space where you don't quite love yourself yet, but you also want to make change and you want to stop hating yourself. And I think body neutrality kind of brings in this concept of like you can be grateful that you just have a body. And you can also just be neutral about it too. Like grateful in the sense that like it takes me places, it gets me from A to B. Like I kind of think about it in the way that I think about cars. Like I don't really give a shit about cars. But as long as my car takes me where I need to go. That's all I care about. I feel very neutral towards cars. I feel like, oh, you've got a nice car, you've got a shitty car. Does it still go to A to B? Great. You've checked the list, done. And I think body neutrality kind of like it's the similar concept, but for your physical body. You look in the mirror and you can be like, oh, I don't like that, or I don't like that, or I hate this, or like my rolls or my legs. Or, that can be at play. But body neutrality is just like, that's what I look like. It's just kind of like radical self-acceptance of like, this is the way I look. There's nothing I can do about it in this moment. I accept how I look. It's really, you don't have to be, it's not even gratitude. It's just acceptance if I'm getting down to the root of it. You just accept that like your face is your face. Your tits are your tits. Your ass is your ass. Your cellulite, it just is. It just is. I just am. I don't feel any type of way about it. Or I'm going to at least do my best to feel neutral about it. And this was something that helped me because it kind of shifted my mindset from nitpicking and being like, like, you know, when you're in the mirror and you're playing with your belly and you're just like grabbing onto your underarm, you're like, oh, this is fucking disgusting. Because we all do that. Like, we're all so mean to ourselves, which is wildly unnecessary. And this is kind of just like, that's the way I look. And my mom said that this concept kind of helped her when I kind of stopped wearing makeup when I got out of college, and I just embraced my natural skin because I used to beat my face when I was in high school and just cover up any blemish and wear the lipstick and do the cat eye, and I just did all that stuff, and then I just got tired of it. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, my face is my face. Like, I look at it with no makeup on. Like, why can't y'all look at it with no makeup on? Like, I don't care what I look like. This is just my face. There's nothing I can do about it, right? And my mom said that helped her help her embrace her own features. And I still operate from that space, but now I am in a space of self-love. So it's like my face is my face and it's cute as hell. I'm a one of one, you know? So maybe that helps you. Maybe body neutrality helps you in your journey where you're like, that's the way I look. Like it if you want, don't like it. I don't give a fuck about your opinion. I don't even have an opinion. Like, this is just my face. This is just my body. And maybe that helps you, you know, work out, like just do what you need to do for yourself. Like, eat what you want to eat. Like, and if you want to change the way your body looks, you don't have to have a negative or a positive opinion. You just like, I don't want to look this way. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to go on this diet. I'm going to eat this way, or I'm going to work out this way. And it's just going to change how I look. And even when I do get thin, that's just the way I look. I don't feel any type of way about it, you know? Maybe that comes off across as like negative or like whatever, but I'm telling you, like, it helps kickstart you into action instead of shaming yourself and beating yourself so far down that like you are just left apathetic and and sad, and now you just want to go crawl in bed and like eat a bunch of Oreos, right? Because like shame doesn't do any favors for us. And honestly, the shame that you feel probably didn't come from you. It probably came from society. It probably came from your parents. A lot of times it comes from your mom. It could come from dudes that you had a crush on in school who were jerks. It could come from all other places. And a differentiation that I also came across and that I made in along my journey, which might help too, is there's a difference between seeing yourself and shaming yourself through the lens of like other people's judgment, and hating yourself and hating the way you look because other people think that you're ugly or fat or whatever the hell. There's a difference between that, like being the main focal point of why you make change, or why you go try to diet, or why you try to like make yourself skinny, and not living in your own integrity, right? Because when you're not living in integrity, it's because you have this vision of yourself. You have this vision of what you look like and who you know you can become, and then your actions don't match up or line up to bring that to fruition. That makes us sad. That's disappointing, right? That's a different kind of shame. Or, if you do shame yourself in that capacity, you're like, oh, I'm a piece of shit because I didn't do what I said I was going to do, or I'm not doing what I want to do. That's different than operating from a place of like, I'm an ugly piece of shit because like my mom told me and because everyone's told me my entire life. Two totally different motivations, right? I don't think shame has a place anywhere along this journey, because the third thing that helped me in my journey, and that still helps me, is that you can't hate yourself into loving yourself. Sorry, it doesn't work. You have to become love to experience love, right? You can't just hate. You're a piece of shit. You talking to yourself all negatively and calling yourself ugly. Like, that's not going to bring forth these feelings of like feel good, like I love myself energy. And I know that sounds simple, but that shift, I mean, neutrality is more likely to bring about feelings of love, because once you start showing up for yourself, even if it's just in a neutral way, you start to produce evidence that you take care of yourself. And then you become somebody who you're like, oh, I can trust myself to take care of myself. And then you start to realize like, oh, like I love it when people take care of me. I'm people who takes care of me. I love me. And then it's just like this circle, and then it just goes and goes and goes. It's a spiral. And you just keep doing that over and over and over again. And then you're this person who's like shows up in joy because you show up in integrity, because you show up in love. You know what I mean? And just one thing begets the next, begets the next. Like positivity begets positivity, love begets love. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, hate begets hate. So I will say again, you cannot hate yourself into loving yourself. So those are some of the things that have helped me. Those are some of the mantras that have totally changed the game. And using body neutrality, using the concept of like you can't hate yourself into loving yourself, like I no longer shame myself into making progress. And if I'm being honest, like I think I stopped doing that 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. All the years are kind of meshing together now because it's just like little things over time. But like I had to, at one point, have a conversation with myself and be like, girl, you can either continue doing what you've been doing and being miserable, or you can ask yourself better questions, and you can choose and actively practice to be different, right? Hating yourself it hasn't worked, right? Hating yourself led you to being depressed and being disassociated and not taking care of yourself and making hurtful decisions and stepping and like taking hurtful actions towards yourself, eating shitty food, being inflamed, like not moving your body, you stop dancing, like which the consequence of that is I gained a bunch of weight, but like, that's not why I was so sad. I was sad because I was living out of my integrity. Because I will say, there's a point in your journey where like you have to like dig in and figure out if you're sad because you're not living in integrity, or you're sad because you still believe the lies that other people have told you about yourself, right? Both have to happen. Both have to happen because both are kind of at play at the same time, right? Because you're only sad because the vision for yourself is so much bigger than the actions you're taking, right? The vision for yourself is so much positive and there's so much more love there. And that's why I figured out, that's why I was sad, is because I wasn't doing anything to bring that vision to life. And now I'm no longer trying to be skinny. I'm no longer trying to fit into a box that somebody else created for me. My inner voice is no longer, the voice of society telling me that like being thicker or being fat or whatever is like a problem. I no longer subscribe to any of that. My only North Star now is this for my highest, healthiest good? What would a loving person do? When we were kids, it was like, what would Jesus do? What would Jesus do when you're in the church? But like, my question I ask myself is like, what's the most loving thing I could do in this moment? And I ask myself that question for myself because I take care of me. I'm the parent now. I parent little me. I'm the one who puts us to bed. I'm the one who feeds us. I'm the one who looks after us, right? So I'm like, what do I need? And when you start asking that question of like, what's the most loving thing I could do for myself right now? If you want to pretend like you're two different people, like you might hate you, but like if you were your own partner, what would you do for a partner like you, right? Would you run yourself a bath? Would you make yourself a meal that made you feel like warm and fuzzy inside? Would you give yourself a movie night? What's the most loving thing you can do? Because I'm not just talking about physical health. I'm talking about mental health, spiritual health, relational health, friendship health, familial health. What's the most loving thing I can do right now? And I want you to ask that question to yourself. I want you to ask that question to your friend, to your partner, to your family, like, because love begets love begets love begets love. And I think that's all we're trying to get at in this lifetime. Like, we're just trying to figure out how to be happy and healthy, right? Drop the shame. Okay? Shame is like, it's such a sticky, icky disease that I don't know who came up with it, but they're a piece of shit. Not me shaming the person who came up with it, but shame is meant to keep you small and quiet and that's just not what we're here to do. We're here to be creative, loving, bright light beings. At least that's what I subscribe to, because every time I step into that, every time I take a step in that direction, my life opens up to me. The answers flow, the creativity cometh, and I'm given that love and light right back. So that was my rant for today. And, maybe some of that resonated with you, but I'm just feeling really grateful for all the different versions of myself, no matter how I was feeling then or how I'm feeling now. Like, every single thing counted, every single action I had to go through, every single doubt, every single fear, every single moment of shame, every single disappointment, like every way I didn't show up for myself has led me to now, because I have so much knowledge of how I can show up for myself in the best way possible. And so if you're on a journey and you are discouraged, like, please, like, just keep trucking along, because you're learning something new with every quote unquote failure. Because again, is it really a failure if you learn something? I don't think so. And is it really a failure if like it's like, just because there's 10 steps back, or just because there's 2 steps back, those other 7 steps forward still count, And I think we just keep getting better and better and better. And yeah, I'm not on the other side. I'm not even done yet, but I look back and I'm just so proud of like the Caras who got me here. And I just want to give them a big hug, because like literally, like, we're getting really sexy right now. And I'm not a self-made woman. Me and it's all the other Caras whose backs I had to climb to get here. And so I'll leave you with that. Yeah. Self-love, man. It's blood, sweat, and tears is what it is. But it's worth every single second and every single effort. Yeah. So that's me. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please subscribe to the YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend, send it to somebody that you think could really use the message. If you like the podcast, again, like, we've got PerfectionUnfolding.com. We've got some merch. Please, there's a section on the website. If you have a story, if you have a topic that you want to hear about or that you want to hear me talk about, or if you have a story you'd like to share, please share. I want to have as many conversations and talk about as many things as possible, but you guys help me figure out what those things are. So more to come. Promise you I'm going to have some more interviews on the show, but for now we're going to some solo episodes. And I'm just happy to be here. Thank you so much for listening. It means everything. And yeah, you can follow the podcast on Instagram at PerfectionUnfoldingPod. You can follow us on YouTube at PerfectionUnfolding with Cara G. And also check out the website, PerfectionUnfolding.com. Oh, or also email the pod at PerfectionUnfoldingPod@gmail.com. That is the end of episode 25. This has been Perfection Unfolding with Cara G. I'll see you next week. Love you. Bye.